All right, so I told you guys I was gonna start cutting more things off the frame here. So what we're gonna be doing today is I definitely want this bracket off, and I need to figure out what I wanna do about that bracket down there. I know this bike's never gonna have a rear brake on it. We are gonna be pulling this little spacer guy here down. I wanna ground that down. So first things first, I wanna get this side tackled, so I probably gotta pull this fairing off. Not really a big deal. But any of these bolts, like these big bolts here that I put back in, 100%, they are going to be getting a little bit of Loctite because I don't want to have any issues. And then over here on this side, we're going to be chopping this piece down a little bit. Now, this is nothing, like, this is only for pure aesthetics. I'm not doing this because of any performance gains. Yeah, you lose a little bit of weight, but at the end of the day, it's more so aesthetics. I don't need all of these fucking holes here that I'm never going to use. I don't really, this is the only thing that I have that I've never considered selling. So that's what we're going to do. I'm probably going to pull, I need to get some exhaust springs. Those are on order. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this off here, set that up there, and we're going to pull the exhaust itself off, pull this off so that I can start cutting in here. All right, so now that we got that fairing off, you can kind of see what's going on in here. Oil filter relocation kit from Brock's Performance, because if you guys don't know, when you do the 1000 exhaust, so this is a Gixxer 1000 exhaust, and the mid pipe, and then also the muffler is just the universal one, but this is a Gixxer 1000 pretty much full exhaust. And when you do that, these oil filters won't come off, they will hit the header. So you have to take the exhaust off every single time you need to do an oil change. So what I did was I just bought that piece. It was 250 bucks. It sucks how much I spent on it, but it is what it is. It needed done. And yeah, so now you just unscrew it from the side. Now we need to hack this one, and we'll see what I do with that one. This kind of sits like that. There's supposed to be another bracket, which obviously I'm not using, but it would be pretty cool if we could have got them to line up, but like this thing's supported, so it touches the frame. So all I'd really have to do, I don't want to cut the whole thing off, but I think there was a little bit of Loctite on there. That's why that was so tight. But yeah, we're just gonna chop this one first, see what happens, and then go from there. I've been needing to pull this thing off for so long now. I wanted to keep it on there because I thought I was gonna do an actual 600 exhaust, and I just never did. I was gonna use that bracket, but no need. All right, guys, here's where we are at. We got a bunch of aluminum shavings on the ground. Check that out. It's clean, smooth. It's pretty decent for what it is. You'd never notice it. I might hit it with a little bit more flap, but we also got the hole drilled out for here. So I'm gonna put a nut and a bolt on that. No way it's gonna be able to drill and tap. There's not the material enough for there, but we have the nice swoop down here. It matches all the lines. We're good. So that's gonna make me feel better. I've hated the look of this thing sitting down for so long. You're gonna be able to see down in there. Might do the rear shocks at some point, but when this motor comes out, gonna see if there's anything else that needs physically cut out. And I mean, we'll go from there, but a lot of this stuff here is gonna get cleaned up and swapped over. Definitely wanna paint a lot of this stuff and try to, you know, keep everything as clean as possible. So this is the first step. I'm gonna start throwing everything back together over here. And I know I said I wasn't gonna do it for a while, but I do really think, you can see the old exhaust was hitting but I really do think that we're gonna chop these off on this venture. I didn't think I was gonna waste the time doing it because I know I'm getting another swing arm, but those swing arms are $1,100, and I'd rather get a motor before I get a swing arm. So we're gonna cut them off just because I'm tired of looking at them because the other side's bent. But yeah, that's just what I'm gonna do. If I could find a way to be able to cut this entire top ugly thing off and just like plate it and support it that way, I'd be happy, but I don't think that there is. I don't know that these would support that. You know, I'm not a heavy rider, but at the same time, it's like, I don't think that you could cut all this bracing out and cut these braces off, especially because it's mounted from up under here. So I don't know. I don't know. Not gonna risk it. Just gonna get an aftermarket swing arm down the road. I know it might not mean a lot to y'all, but just looking at it, there's no more empty bracket there. It's nice and smooth. I can stick my hand on it. I'm not getting cut. There's no sharp edges. So that's what we got. We will be painting everything once the new motor comes. So just keep that in mind. Anything that we're grinding away now is gonna get taken care of in the future. Oh, I forgot to fucking tighten that damn bolt. I was too worried about putting the exhaust back on. I got those as straight as I possibly could as well. So next thing, probably swing arm, and then I know we're gonna be messing with the rear set on the other side. There, that one does go there. So something happened here too. I think this was rubbing up against that. So these fairings are always replaceable. The last set, I did a nice little cut up on them. I don't do that until after they break. So hopefully we can get a good year out of these fairings. Realistically, it's just the side fairings. They also did a number on painting it. But pretty much what I'm gonna do on this side is just cut a little bit out of that. And yeah, basically try to match the front where we want it. So let's get that done quick. So I had an entire moto vlog yesterday of riding around in the rain, a good hour ride, I should say. I just got back this morning, so I want to quick get some things done. This thing's all done. We're just fucking waiting for Josh to show up. But now I'm gonna get this whole thing pulled off here. And I did forget to go and grab the bolts for the other side. Initially, I was gonna mount this up here, but it just didn't make sense for me to do that, unfortunately. So I didn't do that. But yeah, I'm gonna get this thing pulled off and start making some cuts. All right, so now here's the thing. This is where we get to play around a little bit. So I'm not gonna be cutting anything on the inside of this bracket out. We're probably gonna take out this little piece right here, like right on the inside, this little piece, and then anything up and out, and then kind of like try to smooth this out. So any of these holes I want gone, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, this basically sits here. I tried putting it just kind of like that, but unfortunately the way that the shifter would have been, it would have never worked, and puts this at such a shitty angle. Realistically, I wanted to do the same thing that was done to the other side, but just couldn't make that happen. So we might even take this side fairing off too and get this kickstand bracket out of the way so I can finalize that. So hopefully I can do that. All right, so we got it down, pretty much all of that. I actually went a little bit further than I thought I was. Obviously, I'm not gonna go and take this whole fucking thing out. Maybe one day somebody can fill that with weld, but I need to stop telling myself certain things, because if I tell myself that, then it's gonna be in my head until the day that I physically do it, and it's gonna bug the shit out of me. But this is all nice and smooth. Same thing with up here, not cutting myself on anything. The camera definitely will make it look a little bit different, but this little divot right here, that's normal. I'm not gonna match all of that down to that. That would just take off way too much material. It's also part of it, so now we'll get this guy thrown on there, put that bolt in. We'll see how good or bad I did. Who knows? Maybe I did terrible, you know? So these bolts in there, which I might start throwing Loctite on certain things, but that's pretty much how it's gonna sit. I mean, I'm not mad at that. I'm gonna get some Loctite and throw it in them bolt holes, and down the road maybe we'll get all this stuff powder coated, but for now we'll just run it. I probably won't powder coat this until we figure something out with that. Might even just be able to put a bolt in there and grind it down. Like if I took something like this, that might actually work too. See? That thread's still usable. So I'm gonna get this all thrown back together and throw it back on the bike with some Loctite. So I think what I could do is literally just bring a bolt in from the backside, tighten it up against this, and then just chop the head and grind it down and make it look nice. And then it'll be locked up against this, and yeah. But in the meantime, I'm not super worried about it. I'm gonna throw this back on the bike and start throwing some red Loctite on more things. because I don't want these things coming loose. They've been tight for so long, but unfortunately, even with the correct torque on a motorcycle, things come loose. All right, my opinion, it looks a hell of a lot better. None of that bullshit lining up, and then I kind of like round it off right here, so it all lines up. Literally just, yeah, a bolt in the back of that would be fucking perfect. And I know guys are gonna say, oh, you don't really notice the difference over here. Every time I saw this square ugly thing sticking out of here, it just pissed me off every single fucking time. I do need to get the triple tree off at some point today. I'd like to get this thing off so we can cut out the ignition switch and do away with that. And then we have a ring coming that will go on here, and it will put an AFR gauge where the key used to be. So we're gonna cut that all out. I need to find a solution for this guy here. Wasn't gonna show people this, but check that out. And then we have a hidden kill switch. You have to know the bike to find. Obviously for security purposes, I don't wanna be riding this around without a key. But yeah, so next thing, we're gonna lop off these fucking ugly things, because I know I'm probably gonna have this swing arm for at least another 8 to 10 months. Just my 2 cents. I've been saying I'm gonna do this for a long time now. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. I'm gonna try to match this side. And I think it goes, I can't even remember how it goes actually. I'll have to go back and look in the video. But this is literally just a spacer. This was the rear caliper bracket. Obviously, no rear brake. Not having a rear brake saves me a ton of money because I used to love to skid the shit out of the back tire. So we're getting rid of that. I am going to start getting rid of all of this extra surface area. I should have done it last time. I'm gonna do it now. Wish me fucking luck, because this is gonna take a hot minute, because I'm not gonna touch this with a cutoff wheel. I'm gonna try to do my best with just a little abrasion. All right, so I lied. I did end up making a few cuts just because, and I made it all a circle. So I'm gonna get this axle pulled before I do anything. Get the wheel out, all that shit, so that I can cut this without touching the chain or the tire, because these puppies are $330. So let's not fuck them up. I know, in the beginning I said I wouldn't do it, but check that out. We are good. Trying to be as perfect as possible. I'll show you this side. Look at that. Nice, smooth, flush. Like I said, we'll paint all that up down the road or replace this swing arm in general, but somebody definitely had a good time on this swing arm, let's put it that way. I'm pretty sure that's all we're gonna cut out of it. The only reason I want an aftermarket swing arm is because I fucking hate this big, bulky, ugly thing. I think I'm gonna get rid of that too, because that's for the rear brake, and this swing arm will never see a rear brake ever again. So I'm gonna cut that out while I'm in there as well. And that should actually be about it. I don't know if that's factory. You see that? I don't know if that's a factory dent there, but oh well. So we got those taken care of. I forget what I filmed and didn't film. I got the wheel back on. Josh kept calling me. So I got the wheel back on. All it is a spacer plate. That's all it is. I'm happy with it. And then all I got to do yet, I think the last thing I physically have to cut off is that bothers me. Also, I never tightened the bolt back up, so I'm gonna probably pull this passenger flare off. I shouldn't have put those fuckers back in, those stupid things. But all of these things that, like, it just looks ugly sitting there on the side of the frame. Like, don't need it, you know, ugly. This, it's like, you guys might not notice it, but me knowing that it used to be there, I see it, and I'm like, hell yeah, that looks so much better not having that fucking nub protruding down, you know? It just, my 2 cents. This, obviously, we'll paint this black one day. Might take care of some of the high spots, because there is one on one side, but trying to be as good as I can. We'll paint it black, and I definitely want to get a wheel cover for back here. They're expensive, so I might actually just make one myself out of some 16 gauge steel. We'll see. I doubt we'll tackle that today, but hey, I said I won't tackle things, and then I end up doing it. So, and look, there's a perfect fucking circle right there on the ground. That's the size of this outer lip right here. So, all right, so we got good news and bad news. The bad news is These fucking bolts that hold the stupid kickstand bracket on are just insanely, like, I was able to get this side out no problem. It's a T50, no problem, right? So the other one I was able to get about 99% straight on, but it's at the point where, like, I can't get that bolt out. All right, this is where we're at. I did grind everything down. I don't know if that little bit of protrusion right there will bother me. It probably will. The plan was to get it off and throw it on the bench and just do a nice round thing in there. That little bit, like, it's gonna bug me that I couldn't get that. Like, it's so minor, but, like, I cannot for the life of me get this bolt out. Like, it started getting to the point where it's popping my ratchet out every single time. So besides that, I mean, everything else is pretty much done. Also, these fairings, every single fairing kit I buy breaks right here, every single one of them. It was already broken, so I didn't take the bolt out, but it's wild that they're all consistently broken right there. And then I've had a few of these nubs, like, fall down into the frame, so, like, yeah, that's been fun. So that's where we're at. I started cleaning it up a little bit because, like, these things throw oil, and especially from the chain and whatnot, which was another reason I cut this out. Was not only does it look better, but I can spray in here and spray some degreaser and shit. So might do that a little later. The weather is starting to get nice, so we're supposed to have a decent day tomorrow. I am taking the bike tomorrow and hopefully tonight if the weather holds out. All right, so now that I've cut up even more, this is what you can see from the kickstand. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, but that's all that's left is that little nub. I was able to tighten up the other bolt, so the bracket is tight on both sides, and there is blue Loctite on it. It's stripped out on the way out, but on the way in, the threads were still good, so it's all torqued down. Bike is technically done for the day. I mean, now it just needs a wash and a bath and getting all these little fucking pieces off. This stuff takes time, I'll tell you that. So you can see back in there, and obviously I'm gonna go through a lot of this stuff and clean it up, but stuff definitely takes time. It was something that just needed done. I needed to just sit down and get it done, and I'm happy it is done. So I'll go home, grab the bolt for that. That's all we really need right there. And that should be all right. There's a nice little bolt hole in there because I have the other bolt at home. We'll see how the weather is outside, but what you guys think? We should, I'm hoping the weather's pretty decent for the rest of the day because I would love to ride this thing out. Holy shit. Yeah, definitely. You guys don't notice it, but I definitely see it. That not being there, that not being there. It cleans up the look a little bit. I'm happy with it. I got really dirty doing it, but it's fine. So I'm gonna get this thing moved up and clean up my mess that's underneath and clean the shop again. And once Josh gets here, we'll be able to move this fucking frame to the other side. All right, so we got the bike looking lowish. I wish I could ride it this low, but that would just be absolutely impractical. But we got the triple tree off. You can see right here. So we'll torque that back down. But the main thing is we got to cut this, and this piece off. So like I was saying earlier, an AFR gauge is going to go from this side over. So I'm going to have to do some suspension adjustments and fix this because it's definitely, she popped her way up through the bottom. So we'll get that all aligned, ripped off some of my paint, but it is what it is. The paint on this was not the greatest, but we need to get that back up through. All right, so there you go. Got her all nice and cleaned up. For the most part. I'll set that back down. That thing is hot as shit. So we're gonna get that pounded back down, and then I gotta loosen the bottom bolts for the forks, and then lift this whole thing back up, set it back on here, torque it down to spec, and we should go from there. This had to be done anyway because I noticed the thing's like all cocked down there for the stabilizer. So we'll see. I'm gonna get that taken care of as well. All right, that was a bunch of work, but we are done. Look at how nice and smooth that looks. We got everything torqued down, fucked up my paint job, but it is what it is. Those we're probably gonna have repowder coated at some point. Everything that we're cutting off the frame is done until the motor gets pulled. And like I said, once the motor gets pulled, we're gonna start painting everything, because I'm not just putting a stock motor in this. We're gonna be doing cams. We're gonna be doing a couple of little internal work, probably not a full build, but like just enough for the street, because I don't plan on doing a turbo or nitrous if I do any of them for a while. So, but 750, that's gonna be the biggest CC that this bike ever sees, obviously, because the 600 and the 750 are the same exact bike, and the motor physically bolts in. We'll go give this bitch a bath. I haven't ridden in a little bit. Sucks that video got deleted, but 52,792 miles. So we'll get this thing going, and then we got a couple of goodies coming for it. I want to get the Brock's Performance straps, so you can strap the front end for roll racing. Basically, it'll go from this caliper bracket here up and over, and then come back down to the other side. And then when you want to race someone, you just pull it. It'll lock the suspension down. Decent for roll racing. And then a couple other little things here and there. There's titanium springs. I want to get those. But all that stuff you probably won't see in this video. So we're just going to go around and ride it and see how it goes. Clean my mess up. All right, guys. I don't need to worry about getting it washed because it's fucking raining. Tomorrow it's supposed to be nice, so I'm not worried about it. It's been like hit or miss all day. We've gotten like random shit, nice weather, and then just dumped on. So I'm going home to get a shower anyway, so I could give a shit if I get wet, and then this thing just gets parked in the shed. But man, already just noticing that there's no fucking key switch there is kind of nice. Got my phone, wallet, keys, everything on me. Yeah. And we are done for the day. I'm ready to just get home and fucking get ready for the gym, get my shower, eat some dinner. It is Friday. So we technically have off tomorrow. I'm meeting 2 customers in there tomorrow morning. And then, oh God, this road's awful. And then Sunday, I'm probably going to make up for the fact that I'm not working tomorrow. So just business owner life. But I know I'm not going to notice any of this stuff. It just kind of makes me happy knowing that I'm riding this thing and that there's nothing else I can grind off of the frame. I've wanted to do that shit for a hot minute. I just haven't had the time. And I figure I sat down today and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get it done. And also it makes content for you guys. I really want to blow this second channel up and start posting the personal stuff on here. And then also doing the what do you call it? The fucking business stuff. I'd love to change the name of the main channel to the business name. And look, it's got clear sky, but over here it decides it wants to fucking downpour. I'm gonna hide under these trees. I'll hide under this fucking tree right here. Yeah, we're keeping dry. There's the rain. It's not too bad though. We honestly needed it. It's been so fucking hot. Which I get it, it's Pennsylvania hot, it's not like Arizona or Texas hot. But definitely gonna be soaked by the time I get home. Bike is going right to the shed. Good God. Yeah, my hands are fucking soaked. I haven't had the time to go get gloves yet either. And I'm gonna be riding around tomorrow, hitting the pool. See, there's sunlight over there. But it's pouring down rain here. I'm gonna get away from the trees. They're dumping harder. Come on, motherfuckers. Look at that clear sky over there. Doesn't feel bad at all. I kind of like this. Feels like I'm at the fucking beach or some shit. Like, it's nice. Look over there, all fucking dumping and shit. But then you get this nice clear sky over here. Oh, hell yeah. I like this. Big bump. Alright, well, you guys have fun. Appreciate you guys for watching. Like I said, let me know if there's anything else y'all want to see. What do you think will make a difference aesthetic-wise, speed-wise, other than the motor swap? Because the motor swap's going to make a pretty big difference. See you guys.